Too late to try. Too lazy to try. Too lazy to try. Joe Rogan gets in a heated debate over the Epstein files. Let's go.
Epstein's brother's examiner said that he broke his hyoid bone, and the hyoid bone is not usually broken in hangings, only in strangulations. Actually, it is broken in hangings, particularly for older people.
Broken in 3 places.
Yeah, and that's like,
and it's low on his neck.
Yeah, and that happens.
Also, the lady who was the guard deposited money into her account.
I saw that, but that doesn't. What does that mean?
Okay, well, she also Googled his name before he died.
All that's totally
okay, but
it's like, let me Scooby-Doo
why are you dismissing? I don't understand why you're dismissing this. Because if you're going to pay,
I'm not dismissing it. I'm saying,
well, hold on, you are.
Yeah. Oh, if somebody didn't, he's the same thing when it comes to the COVID vaccine. He's the same way when it comes to the COVID vaccine. He dismisses a lot of the fucking evidence for the COVID vaccine working. You know, he dismisses a lot of it. So I love how he's meeting a person who's dismissing something that he holds dear. You know, have a taste of your medicine, Rogan. Have a taste of your own medicine.
But Epstein tried to kill himself. I don't think there's any doubt about that, right?
I don't know if there's, I've never seen him say it, but I do know that he said that guy tried to kill him, and they found him unresponsive 18 days before. He said that guy tried to kill him.
And couldn't he have lied about that?
That guy was trying to get money.
Couldn't he have lied about that?
All right, so it looks like Joe Rogan finally realized he actually can push back against his guests. You know, for a while it felt like he was on cruise control, and when he was asked about his Kash Patel episode, he even said, "What am I going to do, push back?" But recently he hasn't shied away from arguing with his guests, which makes this podcast so much better. Like, some of the best episodes were some of the most contentious ones. So there is still a little bit of hope.
It's not even about arguing. It's not even about arguing. We're not trying to create clickbait. You know, Rogan's not in the business of doing clickbait. He just makes content, right? He just do this long form podcast. It's not even about arguing. If you know something to not be true, or if you just want to have a conversation that's interesting, pushing back slightly or asking the person to explain themselves or to that should be the bare minimum. I mean, it's not that hard. But he's going out of his way not to do it on certain topics because those topics he doesn't want to push back on because they maybe benefit some of his friends or people he's associated with. Because Rogan's not a dummy as well. He knows things to push back on, not to push back on. You know, certain topics he's not going to do it. Some people he's not going to do it with. But in this one particular one, he probably felt more in control, more, you know, higher level, whatever it may be. That's all people want. Can you just for once, please go back to being the person that would, you know, from time to time, push back, have something to say, maybe be the voice of the people, maybe offer a counterpoint, whatever, opposite point, whatever, devil's advocate, something.
For Joe, especially because now he's also really starting to question Trump's decisions, like attacking Iran. He definitely isn't happy about that. In the beginning of this episode, he was talking about it with his guest, Michael Shellenberger, who was trying to convince Joe that Israel's influence had nothing to do with Trump striking Iran, which is wild. Like, the gaslighting is off the charts here. I mean, we have senators saying Israel made us do it. Marco Rubio basically said Israel got us involved. Trump said Jared Kushner, who's really close with Netanyahu, told him to attack. But Michael Shellenberger thinks Netanyahu doesn't have any influence on Trump. It's incredible.
But I think Trump is in charge. Like, he's making these decisions. There's nobody behind him. There's nobody pulling for all of that. You know, the Russians or whoever, or these now the Israelis. You know, it's just he's clearly. I mean, Elon gave him $250 million, and he still he didn't give him even the electric car credit. You know, like. Trump is in charge, like, I think that's one of the big lessons from this.
Which just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more.
Saying another man's in charge is like so cocky as well. There's a lot of that in it. I really find that interesting. Trump like displays himself as such like an alpha, right? The way he kind of talks to people. Like, I guess the alpha that people just like, the modern description of being alpha is just being an arrogant cunt, isn't it, right? When you got money. But he displays a lot of that. But a lot of the subordinates or the fans, they love to like defer to him. They love a little bit. Yeah, my boss, the big this. I mean, he's in charge. Who says that out loud? Oh, he's in charge. Ew.
Wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
Well, but he said he's against endless wars.
Well, they're
Running
all
against endless wars.
Listen, man,
So-
they're all endless. Did
Well, if we
you ever
put-
hear Rumsfeld talk about Iraq when it first happened?
Tell me.
They were talking about like 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy was just getting cooked in the comments. All the top comments are like 5 minutes in, and it's clearly apparent who this person's handler is. Is this guy on Netanyahu's payroll? It's gotten to a point where I don't even trust anyone that comes on here. And I used to trust this guy, but now he sounds like Kash Patel. And maybe they should send someone whose last name doesn't end in Berger or Stein to tell us Trump's making decisions on his own. So nobody was buying this BS, and Joe wasn't either. He started pressing him a little. And at one point, Michael says, well, they don't have anything on Trump, which is kind of a weird thing to randomly say. And Joe's like, well, how do you know that? So even Joe seems to think that Israel possibly has blackmail on Trump. And Michael says this stuff like it's an absolute fact that Israel isn't influencing him and there's no dirt on him, which kind of makes it seem like there are people that told him this or there are people that want him to say this. But Joe is not going along with it, and he even communicates with Trump and has been trying to give him the benefit of the doubt in most situations. But with this, he is not on board.
Trump's doing what he wants to do, and we should...
You really think it's that simple? Trump's doing what he wants to do. That's
Yes.
it?
Yes.
You don't think people are influencing him? Because there's a lot of war hawks around him, right? There's a lot of people that want
Yeah,
this and
Tucker
have
was in
for a
there,
long
right?
time.
I mean, Netanyahu's in there, but then Tucker was in there a bunch.
But do you think
Making the case against it?
Tucker has the kind of influence that Netanyahu has?
Well, I mean, I guess if you just base it on the outcome, then the answer is no.
No.
Again, Rogan with the like. I wonder what it is about him not believing or accepting that Trump just might want to do the war. Like he might. Why is he saying his people around him? He seems to have a real hard time placing any blame for what Trump does or for the Trump president. Yeah, I think he's really interesting. I guess it's if you favor somebody, he seems to have an inability to separate Trump from his presidency. So on one side of the token, Trump is this all-encompassing alpha male elite president, says what he wants, blah, 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 right? But on the other side of things, when bad things happen, he's not the person responsible. It's somebody else did it. Huh? Oh no, it's not. It's the people around him. It's the war hawks. It's the Israeli influence. Like maybe, but also it couldn't just be him going back on what he said he would do. Anti-war Trump couldn't just be like, oh no, fuck this. I want the war. It's gonna be good for business. Couldn't just be that.
But that's what I'm saying. I think he listens to everybody, but I just don't think it's Russians aren't behind him. Israelis. I mean, Trump is. Look what he's been through. I mean, he's got where he is. There's no way he's gonna. They don't have anything on him. That's
How
my
do you know
view.
that?
I don't think they have anything on him.
But how do you know
behave
that?
way?
What
He
do you-
could,
in what way?
but I'm not. We don't see any evidence for it.
Well, you wouldn't see any evidence until it broke out. Until
Sure.
they released it.
Yeah, and we'll get it. I'm sure we'll get into Epstein, but I mean, I just think when you don't have
No, you
evidence
won't.
of something, then you can't assume that it's happening. I haven't seen any evidence. I've seen evidence that Trump is fully independent. With it, particularly this case of Elon, surprised me. I would have thought at a minimum you'd give your largest campaign contributor the one thing he wants.
So Trump might have to give Joe a call and get him in line. Or maybe Trump can make another True Social post about Joe. That'd be hilarious. So shit really hit the fan towards the end of the episode when they started talking about Epstein. This guy, it seemed like, was trying to do damage control over it, and Joe was not having it. He was getting really frustrated with him because he was trying to downplay like every aspect of it. You know, Epstein's death, the files, his ties to intelligence, and how much the people who still hung around him after he's first arrested knew about him. And he compared this to the Me Too movement, and he said he's disappointed about all the innocent people who are getting caught up in this.
Description where he was talking to this woman where she said, I'm investigating a story about an island where they bring children for sex. And he goes, she almost had a heart attack when I told her that person is me.
Well, he was talking about the rumors and gossip
Yes.
about him, but he wasn't saying that he's bringing children to his island for sex.
But that is what he said. But if you look at the
No, he
text,
said they're talking about me.
No. She said, I'm doing a story on a guy who brings children to his island for sex. And he says, she almost had a heart attack when I told her that person is me.
The person that my
You're being
interpretation
charitable.
of it, I'm not. Well,
But you're being charitable because that's not what the text says.
look. Let's back up to the intelligence.
But wait a
community.
minute. Why would you
Well,
dismiss
we
that?
can pull it up and look at it. I just think I think what we see from the files.
Look at Joe wondering. Look at Joe's mind expanding in real time. Hold on, why would you say that?
You're being charitable because that's not what the text says.
Look. Let's back up to the intelligence.
But wait a
community.
minute. Why would you dismiss
we can
that?
pull.
Yeah, why would he dismiss that, Joe? Why do you think he would dismiss? Look at his face. What correlation could you think between that? Why would you think he would dismiss that? He's so close. Like, why would you think he would dismiss all this? Somebody made a really good tweet the other day about, like Americans are suffering because Joe Rogan found out about politics at 58 or something like that. I thought that was hilarious, man. We live in a weird world, in it, where an influential podcaster can find out about politics in their 50s and then completely sway an election. I don't think that's true. I think Trump would have still won because fucking Biden was such a shit option and no one was gonna ever vote for Kamala, let's be real. But it is kind of funny, man, to see how much influence these guys have on stuff. It's like, it's kind of sickening. It's like, yay. Like, really? But I guess the world we live in, isn't it?
We can pull it up and look at it. I just think, I think what we see from the files, and I think Mike Benz has sort of pointed out the ways in which Epstein might have been a contractor or a financier or somebody hiding money for the intelligence community. Beyond that, I don't see any evidence that he was doing much for the intelligence community, if at all.
But you're only getting emails and only half of the email. Why would you redact the name of the person who sent you a torture video if you're not trying to protect a powerful person?
Yeah, that's the Sultan. Is that right?
Okay, but that was someone had to just figure that out.
I mean, look, the redactions are sloppy.
But that's no. That's evidence that you're trying to protect a powerful person.
And like how he doesn't comment on that, by the way. Yeah, that's sloppy. What do you mean that's sloppy? That's your response. There's a name retracted. People found out it was a Sultan. Talking about how much they enjoyed a fucking torture video. And yeah, that was sloppy. It reminds me of that bit. Remember Tom Segura? We got Tom Segura. This is the only bit that was funny recently. It reminds me of that bit that Tom Segura and Christina Pazsitzky had, this running gag about when something really horrible happened to somebody. Oh yeah, that really sucks. That guy's a real douchebag. It was like the understatement. It was like a hell of an understatement. You know, it's like super, crazy serial killer kills 1 million people. And then Tom Segura and Christopher, yeah, that guy's a real douchebag, man. A real knuckle dragger, a real square, It's like and I think it's the same thing he's doing. Yeah, that sucks, That's really lame. About the salt.
Person.
Well, but they didn't, though, in a lot of cases.
But they did right there.
Yeah, I mean, the redactions, they were making them. I mean, it was like,
but
my understanding is that
there
there
was a lot of powerful people's names.
Yeah, but I mean, look at, like, we're in the midst, I mean, literally the people that are being canceled for this, like Peter Attia, these people are like victims of we're in the middle of a complete, moral panic. I mean, it's like Me Too version 2. I mean, people are having to leave boards. I mean, right.
Okay, but a lot of these people were hanging out with him and doing business with him after he was arrested. So this is all post 2008, and it was very public.
Okay, so then, what is our view of people that do the crime and serve the time? I mean, the left. Okay.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I never heard that before. Epstein did the time, so he should be able to move on with his life, essentially. If you associate with him, you shouldn't have any reputational damage at all, because he did the crime, he did the time. As if he stole some fucking gum from a fucking store. As if he ran a fucking PPP loan or something. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay,
the left view has been that.
Stop right there. He didn't serve any time. Do you know?
He served a year.
Okay. He did not go to jail for a year. He did house arrest.
Yes.
It was a very sweetheart deal.
And Joe didn't bring this up, but he should have mentioned how he turned down a meeting with Epstein because of his first arrest. like a podcaster realized Epstein was sketchy as hell and didn't want anything to do with him. But all these,
By the way, it doesn't matter anymore, unfortunately. Like, that's the one last legacy of politicians. There is no such thing as like standards, decorum. It doesn't exist. It's never going to go back, by the way. It's never going to go backwards. That's one. I think that's one. That might be the worst part of that might be the worst element of the Trump legacy when you look back on it. We're not going to even live in a world where the politicians even pretend to be good people. I think it was better when they pretended. Not gonna lie, it was all lies anyway.
And I'm loyal to default.
Oy vey. It's like we're always under attack. I mean, Simon. He did the time. Quick. We need more taxpayer funding.
Exactly. Exactly. Big up or something.
billionaire businessmen and politicians were gladly meeting with him, and they definitely knew about his first arrest. But then, of course, once Epstein got busted again, then they had to lie about their connection to him and downplay it. Like Joe's buddy, Elon Musk, who's trying to get to the island. I mean, if Michael really wanted to make Joe uncomfortable and win this argument, he should have brought up Elon, because then Joe would probably have to make some excuse for him. And also, Peter Thiel lied about his connection to Epstein to Rogan. You know, he initially said he was just getting tax advice and he didn't really know Epstein, but they're communicating quite a bit, and he took an investment from Epstein, which is weird. You know, somebody who's already worth billions of dollars needs $40 million from a sex offender. That's kind of strange. Like, you'd think if you're at that level, why would you want to associate with someone like that? So hopefully when Rogan has on Elon again, he asks him about Epstein, because what did Elon think those parties were like? Obviously, he heard that Epstein threw wild parties if he was asking about them, but I doubt Joe would push back this much against Elon. It seems like he only argues with people who aren't as important. I mean, Joe loves being friends with Elon, and obviously he's the richest man, so I don't think he'd want to burn that bridge. So also Joe and Michael, they started arguing about Epstein's death.
And even this last few days, there's some new things that people point to, but they actually are not actually evidence of it. They said, you know, Epstein's brother's attorney or Epstein's brother's examiner said that that he broke his hyoid bone, and the hyoid bone is not usually broken in hangings, only in strangulations. Actually, it is broken in hangings, particularly for older people.
Broken in 3 places.
Yeah, and that's like,
and it's low on his neck.
Yeah, and that happens.
Also, the lady who was the guard deposited money into her account.
I saw that, but that doesn't. What does that mean?
Okay, well,
I mean, in other words,
she also
money.
Googled his name before he died.
All that's totally
okay, but
it's like, let me Scooby-Doo
why are you dismissing? I don't understand why you're dismissing this. Because if you're going to
not dismissing it, I'm saying.
But hold on, you are.
Yeah,
but hold on, you are, because if you do.
She googled his name. Okay, so what? She had a payment received, and in the notes it said, "Thank you for turning around." So what does that mean? Before Jeffrey Epstein died, examining Jeffrey Epstein's body, they found he had a black eye, but he hung himself allegedly, and he was in no altercations prior to being hung. From what we documented, how did he get the black eye? Oh, who cares? Honestly, this guy's dismissing techniques are fucking brilliant. But I love it because Rogan needed this, because he was the same way when people were talking well about COVID, or talking highly about the precautions and shit. He was very dismissive, acting like, yeah, ivermectin. I like that he's getting dismissed the same way. He's getting fucking questioned the same way. I love it. He needs a bit of his own medicine.
You have a guard, and all of a sudden this guard acquires several payments. She made several deposits. One of them was $5,000 just 10 days before he died. And then the cameras are cut, okay? And then they mysteriously don't pay attention to the cell of one of the most important defendants of any case, any gigantic public case involving.
Okay, so then we agree we don't know.
Yes, but you're dismissing these major factors of him being in a cell with a contract killer, him saying 18 days before the guy tried to kill him, then finding him unresponsive, that someone tried to strangle him 18 days before.
Yeah, but I mean, there's just you can make a case either way, is my point. You can make the case that he was murdered.
You
make
certainly
the case that he was
can,
suicidal.
but at a certain point in time, when enough circumstantial evidence is
he's also not making a case. He's completely dismissing it. He's not making a case. He's dismissing it. Anyway, I'll let you watch the rest of it by yourself. I'll leave it there. There's about 3 minutes left. You can watch the rest of it by yourself. It's called Joe Rogan Gets Into a Heated Debate Over the Epstein Files. Big up to His to Try. Big up to Lazy to try.